MLB meetings are still going on as we near the MLB deadline to cancel games. The league had said it would start canceling those games if the deal isn't reached by midnight. But according to The Athletic's Evan Drellich, an extension of that deadline has been discussed. And according to MLB Network's John Heyman, moods around the talks have improved today, but they are still very far apart on key components. The 14-team postseason is one of the big issues. Let's roll, presented by Town Fair Tire. Lou Merloni, WEEI, joining us now. What's your temperature on these talks right now?
I would say not good. And you know, the discussion of 14-game playoffs, it's like that is just like a small part of it. Like we're still worried about like lottery, how many teams are involved in a lottery. They want does anybody want 14 out of 30 teams, so 162-game season? Like, to me, it makes no sense. They want more money in the pocket. And from what I'm hearing, talking to people down there involved in this, that there's a belief that the owners know exactly how many games they need to fulfill their TV contracts. And that's when the season's going to start.
Well, okay. How many games is that?
Well, can I just throw in this tweet?
Yes.
Tweet now since you're talking about it, so you're not the only one to say that. Yankees pitcher Jameson Taillon tweeted this. He said, players are used to meaning the owner's threats. Owners' actions have made it clear all along that they have a set number of games where they still make profits and get their TV money. They don't want to play. It's sad that these are our guys who drive the direction and future of our amazing sport. So again, just explain this again, Lou.
So we went through this in the shortened season. A lot of this talks came up before. So from what I've been told, people don't know if it's 135, 140, 145 games. Let's say it's 140 games. The owners don't care about the first 22. They don't care at all about missing.
Meaning their agreement with the TV networks is if we deliver a season of 140 games, we get all of our money.
Yes, if it's a 135, they want money back. So there's no urgency whatsoever from the owners until they get to that number. So if it's 140, the first 22, they're willing to just throw away. They don't care about games in April. They care about fulfilling their TV contracts, getting their money, and having playoffs. That's all they care about. Nobody cares about the gate in April. Like, it's not that important to them. Fans don't come out in April when it's cold and kids are still in school. So they're willing to sit there and say, yeah, whatever, I don't care, because I don't think this is as close as people think. They haven't even touched the CBT, which to me is the biggest and always has been the biggest issue here.
All right, so if the owners don't care about it, and that guy right there, Tony Clark, we saw him, the former Red Sox. He was bad with the Red Sox, by the way. But then they have no leverage, right? So they're pretty much at the whim of the owners.
Not
the
now.
Owners are just waiting out the clock, and then when the owners decide, okay, this thing is serious, then that's when a deal gets done. Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, basically.
So a deal gets done probably, in 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah. Yes, that's what absolutely. 2 or 3 weeks from now, and they have a regular postseason or spring training, I should say. And the season starts the third week or fourth week or whatever it is.
And they're fine.
Maybe week
okay.
one.
Didn't lose any money?
They didn't lose
We're
anything.
Good.
They don't lose anything. Listen, I love Tony Clark. I play with Tony Clark.
Yep.
Greatest guy in the world. But
great guy.
He ain't got no fear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I actually think that the players' involvement is too much right now, like maybe more so than in the past.
I mean, meaning Boris? Is that really what we're talking about?
If it's Boris or if you're John Henry and you're a billionaire, okay, and you've been negotiating deals forever, do you want to lose a deal to Max Scherzer? And the players take it personal.
Right.
Like, they're in there fighting. It's personal to them. They don't want to lose either because they're competitive. It's like, I think it's just getting too emotional at this point for some sides.
So what's the players' resolve? What's the players' willingness to lose game checks? The reason the NFL has never had a death sentence kind of work stoppage is because their players can't afford to lose game checks. Do you think the baseball players are willing to do it? Like this Bryce Harper thing with the,
Joe.
Give me a break. He makes $33 million a year, and he's going to go over there and make $700,000 to play a couple of games and Yuri, whatever. Like, that's just ridiculous. He's not going to do that. But are the players willing to miss games?
I think so. And this is the difference between a baseball union and why it's stronger than any other union, because no other sport is. And these guys realize that even though I'm like 2 years in the league and 3 years in the league and I'm not making that much money, what's going on right now is going to affect me 5 years down the road when I hit free agency. Like, there is a belief in baseball more so than any other sport. And because of that, I think so. They've lost the last 2 or 3 negotiations. And we'll sit here, they'll bitch about a deal and through 3 years we'll say, well, you agreed to the CBA. Well, there's a trade-off. If you really want me to fight to what I believe in to be comfortable with this, then I got to be willing to lose some games. And I think they are. They always have been.
All right. Well, it says here on the rundown, any comparison between 1994, that strike, and that led into the 95 lockout shortened season and this one. And I say this, let me answer this question. Yeah, in 1994, and you grew up here, Lou, all right, in 1994, the number one team in Boston was not the New England Patriots. It wasn't the Bruins, wasn't the Celtics. It was the Red Sox. even when they weren't winning in 94 and 95 and 96. The world has changed. And I think so the players don't want to lose. The owners don't want to lose. They're all losing because baseball, with this delay, the sport goes to risk going down into the third or fourth sport in this town.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, okay.
94, 95, you missed the World Series.
Yeah,
Missed the World
Series.
You're talking about missing 2 weeks in April.
Oh, but still, you're also missing spring training.
Yeah, okay.
You're missing opening. What? Yeah. I love the tradition.
You lost the World Series.
I remember opening day. Opening day is like a holiday to me.
I think it's actually fake outrage. They're going to lose the sport if they lose 2 weeks.
I think it's an absolute
joke.
I think they've been
people
losing.
think the sport is still dying when they're outrating most other sports. They're out-revenuing most other sports. No one's beating the NFL.
They're not outrating the NFL.
They're outrating the NBA. They have more revenue than the NBA.
They don't have more revenue than the NBA.
They
don't have a better TV contract than the NBA. No, they don't. Absolutely not.
There's more revenue every year than the NBA. They're 2 million more viewers in the NBA All-Star game the MLB All-Star game than the NBA. They have outrated the NBA Finals 5 of the last 6 years and 3 consecutive years the last 3 years. What are you talking about?
The sport is dying. What
oh my God, it is so not dying.
The sport's not dying?
Oh, why would you create that? It's such a false narrative.
Okay, so you think baseball in 2022 was as strong as it was in the 1990s?
Nothing is.
Okay, but the NFL is. The NFL is stronger.
Take the NFL out of every discussion. Nothing else is.
And go ahead.
Can I settle this? As a business, it's definitely not dying. Their revenues are higher than the NBA. They're the second highest revenue-producing sport in the country. You
guys should look at the TV contracts.
I
don't know where you're getting the information from.
Revenue.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's
talk.
revenue.
The revenue as a business, it's not dying at all. In terms of a thing people are passionate about, it's
I would agree.
It's kind of dying.
The product is what it is, but how can you say that when the ratings are still outrating the NBA?
Well, their demos blow. I mean, it is. They do good household ratings, but it's usually the old guy, in the chair, passed out in the lazy boy. Their demos blow because it's a sport that's getting old. The business is fine. The passion of the sport is just not what it was. I think we all know.
It's not even close.
It's always been an older sport.
Yeah, it's gotten older.
No, but you think young people are excited about baseball now, like they were when you were growing up, when I was growing up? You think they were like 25 years
anything ago? Yes, they're more excited about Xbox and their phone than anything else. No one's excited as we were kids about anything.
I don't think the sport's not growing.
Rob, tell me again.
I don't think it's growing.
The 7th and final session took over. It was over in 5 minutes. So they met for a 7th time today, and it was over in 5 minutes. So
see you in April.
That's the very latest on that.